We are both 26 years old. My girlfriend allowed her toxic friends to influence her to get a reaction out of me. She and her friends are far from the first to take issue with the fact that I don't get as emotional as other people. And yeah, there are some attachments there from a lot of deep seated childhood trauma. I have been to therapy and counseling. I know myself and worked on it. But I have people accuse me of being a sociopath because it can be unnerving. At work, my analytical, objective, fact based approach is a huge boon. But all the same, coworkers have called me a robot, a computer, a cyclone. This time she went too far and got the reaction she wanted when I caught her in bed with the guy that was supposed to be playing Santa Claus at the Christmas party. Let me preface this. We have a good relationship. I am sure we are each other's best friends. She is, for the most part, an amazing woman and partner. She light up every room she walks into and can make fast friends with anyone. She's great with children and is a caring person. If someone is at a party and is antisocial, she will step in to involve them in the activity or just spend quiet time with them to let them know they are seen or heard. She's very popular, has a lot of friends, and is on decent terms with healthy boundaries. With a few of her exes, she doesn't let friendships be forgotten. She still is close with her friends from childhood. She goes out of her way, even years into our relationship, to do romantic things to show how much she cares. Anytime I do something nice, she always acts surprised. It could be the sixth time getting flowers, jewelry, a love note that week, and her eyes will still light up. She will get gleeful, give hugs and kisses to show how much she appreciates it. We have a solid relationship. She truly is a supportive partner. One time I worked a late night. She drove to my workplace to pick me up with a snack, took me home, cuddled me to sleep, made me breakfast and coffee in bed before dropping me back off at work and heading to work herself. Even though I make more money and offer to pay, she insists on fair split of bills. When that's not practical, she will do budget for us to pick what's most practical. She is not immature. She does her own taxes, can change a tire on her car, plan and acts with intention and purpose, which pretty much everything, and has a good understanding of her thoughts and emotions. More than once when we have been together, she's done or said things that made me want to propose on the spot, only holding off because I wanted to make it as special as possible for her. She's a woman I saw myself spending the rest of my life with. With that preface complete, how the hell did I get to this point? That goes back to the start of our relationship. She has some childhood friends that I think are toxic as SHT. Their opinion means a lot to her. When we first started dating, two different friends of hers tried to seduce me in the SHT test. They pried into her about all details of me, my financial, our love life, and my effing penis size. Anything on social media back when I was a kid was gone through. One of them even reached out to an ex of mine to ask questions about me, and I got a stamp of approval from her friends. My girlfriend told me all about this. She did not know it was going on. Not cool. Huge red flag, despite all the other green ones around her. Boundaries were established and maintained, but she's not the type to cut someone out of her life just because they messed up badly. I wanted her to apologize and cut those toxic friends out of her life. Not the first time they've tried to insert themselves in our relationship. And even when they approve of me, their toxic bull just keeps finding new ways to seep in and create new insecurities in her. And she would need to do some real work on herself, fixing some of those mess up thoughts. But even with those boundaries, one got in her head. I don't get jealous. I know she's not the sort of person who would cheat all willy-nilly, and trusted her. Her being friendly is just being herself. She's not trying to flirt or lead people on. I don't really have a lot of jealousy in me, but because I'm not jealous or possessive, I must not be emotionally invested in the relationship. Those talks have not made much of an effect on what's happening. She started doing things to get me jealous. I wouldn't have known that she was texting other guys if she hadn't told me about it. At first, she would leave her phone open on the couch next to me and hide to see if I would check her phone. She would be texting and laughing out loud, hoping that I would ask her who she was texting or what she was laughing about. But I would just ignore her. Not that I don't care if she's texting other guys, but I have trust in her that she wouldn't cheat on me with other men. When she saw that she wasn't getting any reaction out of me, she decided to push the envelope further by chatting with her exes and exchanging flirtatious text messages. Once again, I didn't care to ask or check on her phone. She proactively told me about these things they were chatting about. This time, I told her that it was not appropriate to be texting and flirting with her exes. I told her that I know what she's trying to do, but I guess she didn't get the reaction she wanted out of me. She would make compliments or comments about other men in an increasingly sexual manner to try to get a rise out of me. She knows how that makes me feel. She didn't start this sort of BS until a while ago when one of her toxic friends asked her why I hadn't made her block her exes, guy friends, and the conversations, behaviors, and comments have escalated from there about why I don't get angry. Realistically, with work and social life, there isn't a lot of time for her to actually cheat. At this point in our relationship, we live in a one-bedroom, saving up for a down payment on a home. The area we're living in is expensive, and she wouldn't be able to afford her schooling while working part-time. So living with me shortened her commute time from school and work, and she's able to save money as well. D-Day was a Christmas party at a friend's place, close to her town, because we were going to spend Christmas at her family home. We all had our Christmas costume on, which is just a Santa hat. There was this friend that had a full-on Santa outfit with the white beard. He was getting all the attention. My girlfriend took particular interest in him. As soon as I turned my head, they were flirting and halfway intimate in a playful manner in front of everyone. It was fun for her, and everyone laughed along. For obvious reason, I found it uncomfortable that she would touch him like that in front of everyone. But in my usual non-reactive attitude, I didn't react to it, but it bothered me inside. We lost sight of each other as I went to play video game with the boys and left her in the kitchen with 3 other female friends and the guy in the Santa costume. While we were playing video game, everyone gathered around because we were loud and teasing each other as we play. I looked around and noticed that my girlfriend wasn't in the room. I didn't pay attention to it because I thought she may be using the restroom. Then it was another friend's turn to play, so I thought I'd get up to grab something from the refrigerator in the kitchen. When I got to the kitchen, nobody was there, as everyone was in the game room except for my girlfriend. I went searching for her. I checked the bathroom to see if she was there, but I didn't find anything there. So I went down the other side of the house to check if she's in one of the rooms. I opened the door to one of the rooms and was horrified by what I saw. I saw her on top of the guy in the Santa outfit. As soon as I opened the door, she jumped from on top of him, and I was just shocked. I didn't know how to react as I stood there gazing at them with a death stare. I am not someone who makes rash decisions or throw punches by impulsive, emotional, reactionary decision, action, or comments. It is a quality that I think is the reason her friend's comment got under her skin, because I am not emotional as others, especially when it comes to anger. I walked out of the room and went and joined my friends, playing video game like nothing happened. I was hurting inside, but I didn't show it as I continued playing games with the boys. My girlfriend and the guy with the Santa costume nonchalantly walked into the room and joined the group. After the party, I told her that I wasn't going to her parents' place and I was going to be driving hours back to our apartment. She kept apologizing, and I let her know how I felt, and how she had destroyed the trust I had for her. It was pretty messy, no attempt to brush things off, but a lot of pleading, apologizing, promising and crying. I insisted I needed some time. She called her parents and told them what happened. Her family came to pick her up because they don't want her driving on winter roads by herself while she's messed up. Her dad called me and offered me up a hotel near them in their cabin or to stay with me here. Barring any of those, he asked me to find a friend who stay in the city because even if we can't work this out, they don't want me alone during the holidays. And going to visit my family requires a plane ticket. But they wanted to make sure I had some support and wasn't alone while I figure some of the rest of the stuff out. I decided to drive back to my apartment alone. I had already made up my mind that I would be spending Christmas alone. She ruined it for me. I can't condense years of an intense and loving relationship into a few paragraphs. Her betrayal affected me. Her excuse was that she didn't intend for it to get that far, and they were drinking, and flirting turned to something she didn't expect. I understand her behavior represents a regression from who she is as a person, and a departure from her norm. I can guess at a lot of causes behind it. It doesn't excuse it, but I can understand it. I have never been one to say trauma is an excuse for bad behavior. If it was, I would be much worse man than I am today. All the same, it's not who she is as a person. The root cause is something we can't work through. I was hurting and alone on Christmas when I wanted to be spending it with the woman I was planning on spending the rest of my life with. I spent Christmas reading my lease agreement and playing video games. It was the worst Christmas I have had yet. The following morning, my girlfriend called and was surprised that I drove back home and didn't stay with friends. She wanted to drive back, but I told her that I needed some time. I searched for another apartment and filled out an application, knowing that I would break my lease. On the 26th, my lease was approved. I hired a moving service on Craigslist and moved all my belongings in 5 hours and left the apartment we shared together. After moving out, I paid the penalty at the leasing office for breaking my lease. I knew she can't afford to live in the apartment alone. New Year's came, we were still in communication. She was under the impression that we were going to reconcile. I encouraged her to register and pay for her classes for the next semester, while I spent New Year alone at my new apartment. Most of my friends already went out of town, so I didn't have anyone to hang with. After New Year's, she returned home to find an empty apartment. She called me and started freaking out, telling me that she thought we were going to work it out. I told her that we could work it out, but she has to live on her own. She cannot reasonably afford to rent in our area anymore. If she moves back towards her parents, where she's from, she won't be able to continue down the current career path and will not be able to continue working her current job. Long story short, she was screwed. She told me to tell her where I live so she could find a place to spend the night, and I refused. She didn't want to call her coworkers or friends or had money to rent a hotel, so she spent the night in her car. Throughout this experience, I was angry, but never displayed my anger towards her. I never blocked her number, and I answered her call if I had time, but she soon stopped calling me when she realized that I wouldn't waste any of my time and resources on her. The last text she sent me was telling me how her friends were right about me, but I didn't respond. So here's my reaction. The original poster tried to play it off like his girlfriend wasn't toxic, but was being influenced by her friends. Listen, the truth of the matter is that she's as toxic as her friends. Here's the thing. The original poster allowed his girlfriend's behavior to escalate when he didn't strongly condemn the text message exchange between her and her ex-boyfriend. Quite frankly, that is a red line that most men shouldn't tolerate, and he should have broken up with her when she was flirting with her exes. She's a reaction junkie and will eventually sabotage her life like she just did. You know, women would test boundaries to determine what you're willing to tolerate and to establish dominance in the relationship. Someone can do all these good things, like you have described, but when you have boundaries and values that you don't cross and they don't respect it, that person has to go. I can see you love her, but she's literally pushing you to someone that you're not. And you shouldn't have to prove your fidelity, your masculinity to her or her friends. It's time for her to reflect on her actions and go back to her toxic friends for them to let her believe that they're right about you. Good thing is you broke up with her before she does something to hurt you physically or mentally, and you will take a long time to heal from this, and you deserve a woman that is mentally stable and won't let her toxic friends interfere in your relationship. Thank you very much, guys. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Please hit that thumbs up so YouTube will continue to promote this video.